My name is Alexandra Gorokhova, and I am glad to present you my paper regarding sound is color metaphors. The main research question underlying this topic is how synesthetic metaphors relate to sense perception. By synesthetic metaphors, we mean those in which both target and source domains are sensorial. This problem, of course, has been tackled previously, and it goes back to as early as 1959 and Ullmann's capital work, The Principles of Semantics, where he tried to establish some hierarchy of sensorial domains, which means to identify in which directions synesthetic transfer is more likely to occur. This work was continued by Williams in 1976, and the following hierarchical scheme of intersensorial transfer was obtained. Here we can see the most probable direction for synesthetic transfer is from touch to other domains, and almost never the opposite way. So what about sound and color? Here is the same outline from the previous slide, and in this scheme we can see that these sensorial domains are, so to say, equal, and synesthetic transfer can go in either direction between them. So it seems that we need to go a bit deeper to understand what's really going on between these two. There is quite a lot of research on synesthetic metaphor these days. The problem is that this issue is tackled primarily by studying directionality, which means trying to establish metaphorical patterns by evaluating frequency and or accessibility of different cross-modal mappings. We decided to go deeper and to take a specific cross-domain mapping, sound and color, and see if the links between sound and color terms are based on some correlation between physical characteristics of the given sounds and colors. So how my method works? We collect corpus data on sound-color metaphors, then we measure frequency and amplitude of the samples of metaphorized sounds. We draw correlation charts for both languages, determining for each color the region of the chart where it is most likely to appear as a metaphorical attribute, and, of course, compare them to check if the patterns are relevant. Unfortunately, our research wasn't going quite so smooth as we planned, yet some advance has been made. Here's what has already been done and what we are going to do, we have been working mainly with Russian data so far. Well, in gathering data, we mainly relied on Russian national corpus, with using Google Books as a subsidiary source. Audio data were obtained mainly from sound effects library, like one of those libraries that sound artists use. After gathering the data, we cleaned them by eliminating repetitions, by which we mean metaphors where both tenor and vehicle are the same. We also ruled out most metaphors that can be considered dead or worn out, because we were interested mainly in creative metaphors. The process of labeling involved singling out tenor-vehicle pairs, where tenor was a sound term and vehicle a color term. After that, we grouped them by color. Here's an excerpt of our label data table. The process allowed us to analyze these sound-color metaphors in terms of how often they occur in Russian. In this diagram, you can see that the absolute champion is silvery color, with 75 examples. Main colors of the spectrum have from 20 to 30 examples. What about our audio data? To prepare them for analysis, we have cut them into 3-second samples, avoiding long pauses, and grouped accordingly to the correspondent color. The tools we used include SoundForge, mainly for cutting purposes, Sonic Visualizer for preliminary analysis and visualization, and sound analysis with MATLAB implementation for the final part of our analysis. Let us illustrate the method with a small example. So there are 3 instances of sounds associated with silvery: ringing of the bell, tweeting swallows, and a mountain torrent. We download the samples into MATLAB Sound Analysis, and here we can see different charts including spectrogram, autocorrelation chart, and so on. But what we are really interested in is this chart, featuring frequency and amplitude parameters. If we let us compare what we have on our 3 sample sounds. Here is the mountain torrent, and here birds tweeting, and here the ringing of the bell. You see that there is something common about them. So if we bring these charts together, we can see some regions of overlapping. So we can presume that the sounds with amplitude and frequency values within these bright red regions are most likely to be metaphorized through silvery color. Knowing the underlying mechanism of synesthetic metaphor could benefit general knowledge about metaphor nature and its relation to cognition, so allow us to work out more effective translation strategies while rendering such metaphors in other languages, and it may also find application in visual art, marketing, and so on. Here you may see the list of references, and I would like to thank you all for your attention.